Welcome everyone to another edition of Countdown to Game Day. I am Rich Mcgowan, the high school sports reporter at the Savannah Morning News, and I'm here to tell you everything you need to know before heading out to the stadium. Week 4 was a very solid week throughout the area, and it was led off by Effingham County and its defense, which was too strong for Windsor Forest, as the Rebels took a 29-7 victory from the Knights. Beach put a scare into South Effingham, but came up an extra point short in a 33-32 loss to the Mustangs. Benedictine saw its winning streak come to an end in double overtime by 1 point to Pierce County. Memorial Day proved too skilled and too deep for Bible Baptist. And in Richmond Hill, the Johnson Adams Smashers finally snapped their 25-game losing streak. Congratulations to Coach Harry Miles, his coaching staff, and the players. It's been a long-awaited victory and a much-deserved one. It's good to see Johnson get into the win column. Now, on to Week 5, and we've got several teams on their bye weeks this week, but there's still a few games you'll want to check out, so let's get right to it. First off, in Hinesville, Bradwell Institute, fresh off its bye week, hopes to get its region schedule off on the right foot as the Tigers host the Rebels of Groves. Groves enters Friday night's game coming off a 19-0 victory over Wayne County for its first win of the season. In that game, quarterback Brandon Jones connected with receiver DJ Edwards for touchdown passes of 65 and 50 yards, while running back Maurice Lexley added a touchdown run as well. Now, the Rebels will need more of that big play offense if they're to have a chance to upset the larger, deeper Tigers. Bradwell is 1-2, but 2 of those losses have come by a total of 6 points. While they are banged up a little bit, the Tigers are a large, physical team, and they defeated Groves 42-0 last year. When I spoke to Groves coach Richard Redding before the season, he told me about the loss to Bradwell last year and how much it bothered him. He said to me, quote, "They hit us in the mouth from the time we got off the school bus last year to the time we got back on. They made us like it, and our kids took it. We're not going to take that this year," end quote. While he didn't promise a win, he did say his team would battle harder than it did last year. And I'm sure Coach Redding has been reminding his team about last year's game all week, and I'm curious to see how Groves responds. Even if the Rebels don't go on to win this game, if they put on a good showing, it could propel them into the rest of the region schedule. Unfortunately, I don't like Groves' chances in this. I think they'll be more competitive than last year, but I still see Bradwell taking this one 28-14. Coming off its first win since October 7th, 2005, no team is feeling better about itself heading into this week than the Johnson Adams Smashers. Tonight, Johnson looks to continue the momentum at Savannah State University when the Adams Smashers host Jenkins. Johnson won last week in large part to the all-around play of junior Jarrell Smith. The player of the week did a lot of everything last week, throwing for a touchdown, catching for another, and picking up big first downs with his legs. He also caused and recovered a fumble on defense. That defense is something Coach Harry Miles really likes what he's seeing as the Adams Smashers are improving on the defensive side of the ball. Jenkins, on the other hand, enters 0-3 and has had trouble moving the ball offensively. Through 3 games, the Warriors have scored just 17 points, and in that time have averaged just 98.3 yards of offense. I've had this game circled on my calendar for a while now as the game Johnson would end its losing streak, but the Adams Smashers ruined everything by winning last week. Regardless, I'm still taking Johnson, even though it looks like I'm now jumping on the bandwagon. I'm picking the Adams Smashers to win 2 in a row for the first time since September 2004, and I like them 24-12. Coming off a stinging 28-27 double overtime loss to Pierce County, Benedictine looks to get back on track as it returns to Memorial Stadium to host Long County. The Cadets went for the win last week with a 2-point conversion in double overtime, only to come up short and see its record fall to 3-1. Now, there's a long way to go in this season, but if you're like me, you see Charlton County and McIntosh County being 1-2 in Region 2AA. That leaves BC, Appleton County, and Pierce County to fight it out for the final 2 postseason spots. If this season comes down to a tiebreaker to determine who goes home and who goes to the playoffs, the Cadets may live to regret going for the 2-point conversion last week instead of playing for triple overtime. Long County has struggled coming out of the gate this year, and in their last 2 games have been outscored 101-7. Now, Long County has the potential to score some points, but they haven't done that so far this season, and their defense has picked up right where it left off last year in giving up a ton of points. Long County has the potential to score on opponents, but I'm not sure the Tide defense can keep the Cadet running game under control. That's why I like BC to win this one, 35-14. Now on to the game of the week, where arguably the area's fiercest rivalry is renewed when South Effingham travels to Rebel Field to face Effingham County. This is the 15th meeting all time between the two schools, with each team having won 7 games. Last year, South Effingham took a 20-6 victory at the Corral in a game decided largely by turnovers. The Rebels turned the ball over twice in the first half, digging itself a hole it couldn't climb out of. I went out to both schools this week to talk to the coaches about the rivalry and what it means now that it is now a region game, as both teams are now in Region 2, Quad A.
Well, you work 365 days a year to get back to this point, and this is my 4th year being involved in it. It's a great rivalry, great inter-county rivalry, and we expect a large crowd here at the Rebel Field Friday night. And the South Effingham's undefeated, and we're just looking, hopefully we can play a good game.
Well, being in a region game, it definitely adds to what it means to both teams. I think, like you said, you don't want to be 0-1 coming out of this game, but Effingham's got a great team, they got good coaching staff, and they'll be prepared, and it'll be an electric atmosphere on Rebel Field, so it'll be nice.
The Mustangs are unbeaten at 4-0, but had troubles last week against a scrappy Beach team. In that win, the usually tough South Effingham defense gave up several big plays to the Bulldogs, but managed to escape with the win, largely because of 3 missed extra points by the Beach special teams. Effingham County enters having won 2 straight games and appears to have found its running game, which struggled early on this season. The Rebels' defense has shut down the spread offense in the last 2 weeks, but it has to shift gears to stop the Mustangs' wing T running game. Last year, South Effingham ran for 223 yards on the Rebel defenders. This is the toughest game I've had to call so far this year, as both teams come in with winning streaks, similar running attack style offenses, and tough physical defenses. And games that appear to be this close, it usually comes down to turnovers, and through the first 4 games, South Effingham is +9 in turnover margin and has 13 takeaways. The Rebels, on the other hand, are +5, but with 6 takeaways. It's splitting hairs, but the turnover margin has me thinking South Effingham is going to win this one 17-14. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check back right here next week to savannahnow.com/prepcentral for another edition of Countdown to Game Day. For the Savannah Morning News, I'm Rich Mcgowan. See you next week.